Hello ladies and gents, Romie Reviews here. Please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for Insecure Season 3, Episode 8, Ghost-like. So the episode is the season finale, and I said this is the best episode. It was just all around good. I said this is the feeling of Insecure that I'm sure a lot of people were missing. And it's over for the season. So Issa, she's trying her hardest to convince music players, independent music players, to come and play at her block party. One guy was like, are they going to be bees? Are they going to be hoes? And she was like, one bee right here. And everyone started cracking up because Issa's still goofy. When she went to go and get, free catering, one person said, oh, I know this scam. You're trying to go and get me to go and pay for your stuff. No. Another person was like, well, how much are you paying me to do that? Essentially, this isn't a community where others have really stuck by their word and done what they said they were going to do. As a result, Issa's having a difficult time, a really, really hard time getting all of this together. So it looks like it may not happen the way she wants it to. So then she goes to lunch with Molly, and it's kind of this whole thing of she just wants to have a cool 30th. The block party stuff's going to have to be put on hold. And I must say, it irks me how Molly was very negative the whole time Issa was trying to do something different. I understand her timeline was messed up. I get that. But you can still be overall supportive, and I feel like Molly, with that, wasn't too supportive. Molly, her job is a mess because, well, Issa's going to look for a regular job, so cool. Molly's current job prospect is in question because she went and screwed up. Remember, she went and took over the case from the ace, and even though he technically gets credit, she was the one who looks like she spearheaded it, and the main credit will go to her now, or at least in the for everyone who was there to see her present. Issa's saying, look, you don't need that type of stress in your life. Why don't you go and just apologize, and see what happens? You don't need to you just started there. And we see that Molly's the problem. It's not these companies that are the problem. Molly herself is the problem. Issa ordered everything on the menu. Molly ordered some greens, and Issa said, wow, there's a lot of roughage or greens up there. I'm gonna enjoy this taco and enjoy this burrito. I love Issa. I love Issa. Lawrence, we actually see his father. I said, oh, hey, cool. I said, why does he look familiar? But Lawrence's father gives him the phone, says, do something with that, because the mother forced him to go and change from his flip phone. Did something with a touch screen, and he was over it. He was over it. Vor. Anyway, Lawrence is talking about his relationship stuff, and so the father said, oh, Issa, you gonna get back together with her? Clearly his parents probably liked that relationship for him, but he said, no, that's over, and I'm just having some issues because everyone who I'm dating, they either have baggage, were divorced, or there's something with them. And Lawrence just wants a relationship that's like his parents' relationship. His father had to let him know that, hey, your mother has baggage. Your mother has issues. So it's like, yeah, but you two seem to make... No. We both brought in matching pair of luggage and worked it out for each other. That's how we got through that. You have to make your happy ending. That is just don't happen. But he was recording his voicemail greeting. And that... Lord strict. Anyway. Molly's at work. Her assistant is talking about how, hey, because Molly wanted to know where Torian is. And Torian was in the conference room with the partners. They wanted to meet up with her as well. And that makes her extremely nervous because she's like, uh-oh, did he say something to get me in trouble? But it's actually the opposite. He's pissed because they want to go and congratulate both of them, but especially Molly, for the way how she, handled the presentation. And now there's going to be a new big case. Their biggest case is going to both of them. They're going to be They're going to be working in tangent, 50-50, equal. Molly's excited. Torian's pissed because he's just thinking, you stole something that we were working together because you wanted to come in on it. We have to remember, Molly wanted to come in and work with him, but then she had a takeover spirit and took over his thing. So that's why he's pissed. And Torian also says something slick about, oh, well, the client will really appreciate someone as aggressive as Molly. I said, if that's not a classy slap in the face, I don't know what is. Issa, she's interviewing at the Beat crew. Remember, we figured that she was going to end up trying to go over there. And now that she doesn't have a regular job, she's interviewing. And the guy asked her a good question. He asked, why is it that you're here? What happened to your old job? She essentially said a couple of things changed and it wasn't going in the direction I thought it was going to go in. So now I want to try something new that was more in line with all of my interests, which was cool because it's still a civil service position. The pay isn't going to be great, but this one, she's working again directly with the children and music. So I think that Eli likes her. He just has to go and do his usual vetting. I'm sure they have to make sure they can actually maintain another head because, again, it's a nonprofit. So they're not just raking in, or technically they're not just keeping the dough that they rake in. But Issa being goofy, even at an interview, I said that's classic Issa. Classic Issa. So now Molly's super excited because she's like, I'm outside, birthday beat. And guess who she sees in the rearview mirror? She jumps out of her Audi and sees Nathan. Nathan, after a month later, comes back with flowers, apology flowers. And Molly came back. I said, Molly. I'm not mad. Molly came out and said, She was like, what are you doing here? I was like, well, you came here for what? So you went and ghosted my friend for a month and I ain't going to come back on her birthday of all days to go and try to make amends? No. And I agree with Molly. Nathan looked really hurt. Molly looked like, not today. Oh, not today. And I know some people were upset, but I'm thinking Molly did the right thing. She did the right thing. I don't care if Issa's upset. Molly did the right thing. Now, she told Issa she's going to take her on a surprise. And throughout this whole episode, they keep joking around how it's just like, we're not dating. I am not your boyfriend. I'm not your boyfriend. So why would I go and do this? I'm not your boyfriend. So why would I go and do that? They actually go to a screening of The Last Dragon, which I said, oh, but Issa really loves that. And clearly, she really appreciated that. Issa's turning 30. It's going to be great. It's one of those events where they're actually at a cemetery. If you didn't catch that, they're at a cemetery. Yes, that's where the event was being held. And so they're having general chit chat about, at the end of the day, even though Issa's going to get a regular job, she's still going to be the broke one. So Molly's going to have to go. Molly's going to have to go and pay for everything. And that's when they see Lawrence. I said, of course Lawrence would go to something like, of course Lawrence would go to something like this. Why wouldn't we expect Lawrence to go to something like this? And Issa has a smirk on her face, and she's happy to see him. She actually goes and looks back at him as he's walking away because they had general chit chat. And Molly's just like, we good? He's like, oh yeah, I was just checking out the back of his shirt. So Kelly's holding their seats. Well, I mean holding their spot because, again, you're going to be sitting on lawn. It's at a cemetery, people. It's at a cemetery. I love how Kelly was taking her selfies. You know how Kelly do. And Kelly created this huge space for them so that she doesn't have to fight. She doesn't have to fight any beats. She doesn't have to fight any O's. No. And you know who else she's not fighting? Any pregnant women. Because Issa said, well, are you fighting pregnant women? No, Tiffany made her the godmother. I'm thinking, Tiffany made Kelly the godmother? Kelly went and said something slick about how, dang, Lord, if something happens to Tiffany, I guess I'm going to have to take care of the baby. And then they looked at her and said, well, we would assume Derek would take care of his own child. Tiffany and Kelly said, oh, thank God, because if I wanted the baby, I would have kept the last one. What? What's wrong with her? Oh, God. So they do a toast. And after the toast, Kelly's like, we single, dirty, killing it, black. Looking like all three versions of Jennifer Aniston. Molly talks about how are they single? What about Julian? And Kelly's like, who's Julian? The short black dude that you were going out with after Coachella. She's like, oh, well, that's not happening anymore. We know Kelly goes through these men like. And she talks about how he ain't smart. He ain't a genius because he didn't want to go down on her. I said, Kelly, you did the right thing. And so then Kelly said, what about Asian Bay? Molly talks about, no, he's dead, had dead that. And Kelly's like, what? The 405 took him out? They're like, no, dead him as in the relationship is over. Had to stop seeing him. He's alive, Kelly. Oh, God, they need to make her a regular. Next season, they need to make her a regular. I said what I said. We need further character and storyline development for Kelly next season. And Chad. And I want to see this fiance. Oh, jumped ahead a little bit. And then Lisa says she saw Lawrence. There's a lot of dudes out there for them to go and potentially do something with. She saw Lawrence out, and Kelly says something slick that no one really caught. It's like, well, I ain't afraid of no ghost. And then she thinks she sees her ex, and she says, F you, Quantrell. I said, what? And then she's like, wait, no, that's not Quantrell. She was like, hey, I'm sorry, babe. Something's wrong, Kelly. Then we see Lawrence would hang out with his dudes. So Big Mike is there. And we also see Chad. Chad had a purse. I said, Chad, what are you doing? Chad, why do you have that purse? He's like, it's Balmain. And Beyonce can rock it. I'm thinking, Chad, is that your purse? It took me forever to realize that, no, that was actually Chad's fiance's purse. So he's back with her. And here's the thing. It's working because, remember, Chad joined the church. And I'm sure after he joined the church, things took a turn for the better. He went and apologized. He went and apologized to all her aunties, uncles, father, everyone. And he was like, I also had to do it because, she gave...
Remember to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe and come back.
He's amazing sloppy toppy. I said, wait a minute, what? What? You said what? Isn't your fiance going to come back any moment now? And then we see one of Tiffany's new friends. She was at the, she was at the baby shower. And I said, oh, so she's the one that put it together. And it was actually a nice, diverse crowd. I said, wow, look at this. It was really nice to see, people in that community come together for something like that, even though it was in a cemetery. So when Molly goes to get herself like a snack, guess who she sees? She sees Jared. And you're thinking, wait, who's Jared? Jared was Molly's ex who, just to run down the list, he didn't go to college. He worked at Enterprise. And she was willing to overall deal with that. Until she found out that he also had a sexual experience with a guy. And that's what sold the deal for her. She said, no, she can't do it. She can't do it. Remember, that was that big debate on whether if it was valid, if her feelings were valid or if they weren't. And now she sees him. She's doing well in her career. He got promoted to manager. And the thing is that she definitely looked surprised. She definitely looked like, cause Molly stays ruining a good relationship. I'm not saying it's perfect, but even her she was being goofy, and then Molly's so dumb because this other guy came along and look, I'm not. I also for a moment said something about this doesn't look right. Okay. I was thinking the same thing Molly was thinking because as soon as she saw the dude, the butterfly she had went away. She went and ran. She accidentally ran into Lawrence. And then as she she was like, oh no, she's fine, and ran over to Issa. And Lawrence followed where Molly went. So now Lawrence knows where Issa is. And Lawrence remembers that it's Issa's birthday. And that's when Molly runs, and tells Issa, dang, she saw Jared. And he looked gay. he looked good. And Issa's like, what? She's like, I knew it. I'm thinking, oh God, Molly, you don't know. And that's when Lawrence, he comes over, gives Issa, I guess, her favorite candy, says happy birthday, sits down because someone's like, you're not made out of glass, move. And that's when Lawrence has always had that slight little feeling for Issa, but I think that finally went away once Issa started to talk about how the block party, how it wasn't going to work out. She got a lot of rejections. It was harder than she thought. And so she had to put that on the back burner, and she just had to, look at reality and move forward and make the right decisions, the best decisions for her. And I think Lawrence also needed to hear that. So that's when, after she was done saying all of that, he went back to where he needed to be sitting. So now we see, oh my God, we see Jared and his girlfriend and his brother and his brother's girlfriend. Polly's so stupid. So no, he wasn't there on a date with another man. He was on a date with a whole woman, not half a woman, a whole woman. And Molly had egg on her face because it was like, oh. Now Issa went and talked to the woman who put it together again, Tiffany's friend. And Tiffany's friend actually gave her some words of encouragement because Issa said she was trying to do a block party and said the community really needs something like that. And Issa just said, she got a lot of rejection. I was like, yeah, I got a lot of no's, but I just was really persistent until those no's turned into maybes, and I can work with a maybe. And it looks like maybe a new friendship could be formed. Now, a successful 30th birthday party, mainly ran by Molly. So thank you, Molly. They're just sitting in Issa's apartment, drinking wine, eating hot Cheetos, having a great old time. And Issa's going to try and do the block party thing again. But Molly was, again, being partially a Debbie Downer. I said, okay, Molly, at this point, you're not being a helpful, supportive friend. You're not. And you need to reevaluate what's going on in your life because this demeanor that you have is not okay. It's not. And so while Molly runs down her resume of the successful night that she planned for Issa, she also brought up, bomb birthday, bomb movie night, bomb trash do patrol. And Issa's like, what? So that's when Molly, gloating, saying, well, Nathan, he came around this morning, and I told him to kick it, to step it. How are you going to leave you for a month, ghost you, and then after that month is over, when it's your birthday, come and try to give you flowers? And so Issa's pissed. And I respect the fact that Issa was pissed. I still feel like Molly did the right thing at the time. Because Issa was obsessing over the fact that this man ghosted her. I think that's what we're kind of forgetting. Issa lost her mind for a moment, and Molly had to go and walk her friend through that. So when Issa was kind of going off on Molly, like, how is it you're trying to tell me what's right for me and for my life, and and I respect that Issa felt upset because she was like, you took away my ability to choose how I wanted to, deal with him. And so I get that. I can fully get that and understand that. The thing is, Issa started to go off on Molly and said, you constantly cancel dudes left and right that aren't necessarily bad for you. And the thing is, you've been in this really negative space. at work you're cutting off people who really aren't doing bad things to you, and you're cutting your nose to spite your face. Yes, you may make partner one day at that firm. You may have a stellar career. But what does it look like if you make enemies out of everyone? That's not even you. You're not even that type of person. And so I'm glad that Issa told Molly that, because Molly was receptive to it. She was receptive because she knew it was the truth. And sometimes people need to slap you across the face with the truth, unfiltered, for you to get it. But Issa still delivered it in a way where it was a friend. She was not just yelling at Molly and downing her. It's just like, you're way better than how you've been acting. And so Molly went to work the next day, and she tried talking to old dude, but he didn't want to hear from her. He actually got off the case that he was supposed to work on her with, and he went over to the women who felt that Torian had the takeover spirit. See how that all works out? The people who are going to be down for you, you spurned all of them. So now you have to do this alone. Yes, I believe that she can handle it, but it doesn't mean that she should have to handle it. Now, Issa met up with, guess who? Tiffany's friend, and they're going to work together on this block party, because Issa's like, she doesn't have vendors, she doesn't have entertainment, and this girl's saying, I know people over at Rock Nation, and they would love to do something like this. So there goes entertainment. I have past experience with vendors, and this is the light that Issa needs in her life right now. So it's great that she's here. And I said, this is going on a little too perfect. Now, remember the, probably possibly middle-aged, fluffier, blonde white woman that was trying to get Issa to come to that actual cafe at the beginning of the season. Yeah. So now the cafe's up and running. That's where they actually were. So some progression with the storyline. And most importantly, they're going to be doing an indie rock night. And the thing is, the woman was super excited to, hand it to them, which was great. But they both, once they walked out of there, were laughing like, this is, it's cool that they're doing something like that, but this isn't something that we care a whole lot about, at least in this particular community. And that's why they need this block party, because that's something that this community that before gentrification would have really loved. Now, Issa, she gets flowers. Well, Nathan actually left the flowers for her at her front door. And I said, are those the same flowers? Anyway, Molly calls Andrew, and I said, wait a minute, what the? Andrew's hair wasn't in the ponytail or braided, and I was surprised. I said, what is that? That's like a full mane on his head. It was like deep conditioned and full. I said, I'm not mad. Hair goals. And but I was so thrown off. And then Molly was tipping-toeing into her usual of, well, I need to, and because at first he didn't want to talk to Molly, but Molly apologized. She said, because of her past relationship, it really messed her up. I said, relationship? You mean the friendship that turned sexual and you caught feelings and then got mad at Dro? And then, okay, Molly, okay, if that's what you want to call it, in your mind, that's what it was, so that's what it was. And so she apologized, and there was a pause, but he was still on the line. So, okay, growth. This is going to help Molly in the future. Now we see that Lawrence met up with the same woman that's Tiffany's friend. Because remember, they met at the baby shower. That's how all of this came around. I forgot about that. She was one of the people there. And now we have this weird thing of Lord. So now Issa and Lawrence are going to be connected to this woman. Oh, I'm going to be stressed out. I'm going to be stressed out when all of this is found out. She's a divorcee and he has DUIs, but they're going to work on their relationship. Nathan talks to Issa. And Nathan, I could tell, he looked really nervous. He looked a little shaky. I said, dude, are you okay? Are you on something or not on something? Need to be on something? And yes, we saw Nathan does live with Andrew. He just dipped out for a moment. Issa was pissed. She said, I didn't hear anything from you. I didn't know if you were dead or alive. And now you come back and you just want things to be normal. He's like, look, I'm sorry. And I'm thinking, thank you for apologizing, but you're partially doing this because you want to continue a relationship with her. And I'm glad that Issa didn't just take him back. She said she needs to figure things out. Because he talked about how at times he gets really down on himself and, you know, he dips out, which isn't okay. But he said he went back to Houston, but he'll be back here full time now. I'm thinking, did you have another relationship or family stuff you need to go through, as in a marriage or whatever it was, and now that that's officially done, you can spend all of your time with Issa? I don't know. I just know that I do believe that he suffers from depression, and I wish that was, and obviously it's something difficult for him to talk about, or maybe he's never been fully clinically diagnosed. You never know. But I think that's the storyline that they're going to go with him. So I'm glad that they brought that in there, that this wasn't just a dude just being a dude and being, you know, having trash actions. There could be something really wrong with him. Now, Issa's apartment somehow got really nice and somehow got really furnished nicely. I'm thinking, wait a minute, she's broke. Who paid for all this furniture? Because instead of destroying stuff, being destructive, she went and built up her apartment. And it looked really nice. And that's how we ended the season. Because last season she destroyed that mug. Oh, I wish there was more episodes. We'll see the character development next season.
Remember to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe and come back.